What up, YouTube? Here with a review video of the 2023 NFL playoffs, the divisional rounds. I'm going to be talking about all the games that happened this past weekend. The first game I'll be reviewing is a game with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The final score of this game was 27-20, with the Chiefs coming out on top. The Chiefs had a little scarce moment in this game when Patrick Mahomes got taken out of the game for a bit after suffering an ankle injury following a tackle. And thankfully for the Chiefs, without them having their best player, if not one of their best players, Patrick Mahomes I'm talking about, they still went on to play good football. With them being a complete football team, they still carried the momentum of this game while Patrick Mahomes was recovering from his ankle injury. And I gotta give a shout out to their backup quarterback Henne. Now I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He went on to play good football. He threw a touchdown and made 5 passes out of 7 throws. And when Patrick Mahomes came back in the game, he looked like he didn't miss a step. He went on to throw 2 touchdowns, threw 195 yards, threw 22 passes out of 30 throws. And hopefully for the Chiefs, for their upcoming AFC Championship game, Patrick Mahomes' ankle is at 100%. And it looked like his ankle wasn't bothering him when he came back in the game versus the Jaguars. So hopefully for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes performs at the same rate for the AFC Championship game. And as far as the Jaguars go, they couldn't perform a miracle game like they did versus the Chargers, versus the Chiefs. Trevor Lawrence, he had a decent game. He threw a touchdown and threw over 200 yards. Threw 24 passes out of 39 throws. He threw a pick in this game. However, the Chiefs, like I mentioned before, them being a complete football team, played good defense and good offense, and that happened to be a tougher game for the Jaguars to play when compared to their game versus the Chargers. Now, the next game I'm going to be reviewing is a game with the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. The NFC East divisional rivals playing in this year's NFL playoffs divisional rounds. This game wasn't competitive at all, with the final score being 38-7. Philadelphia Eagles coming out victorious in this past weekend's game versus the New York Giants. The Giants couldn't pull off the upset like they were looking for, as they did versus the Vikings. And the Eagles are looking like strong candidates to possibly win this year's Super Bowl. There's a reason why Philly was the top team of the whole NFC. As I mentioned, with the Kansas City Chiefs being a complete football team, well, so are the Philadelphia Eagles. They are great offensively and defensively, and they proved that in this game versus the Giants this past weekend. And there was talks of Jalen Hurts not being at 100% for this game. That wasn't the case at all, because he went on to have a successful game. He threw 2 touchdowns and threw 154 yards, threw 16 passes out of 24 throws, had 9 carries, ran 34 yards, scored a touchdown running himself as well. And Jalen Hurts is a quarterback, is a player who likes to run the ball a lot himself. And if he wasn't at 100%, you'd think he would have ran the ball as much as he did in this game. Think about it. And Philly had a good running game as per usual. Gainwell had 12 carries, ran 112 yards, and scored a touchdown as well. Sanders has 17 carries, ran 90 yards. Scott, their other running back, had 6 carries and ran 32 yards and ran the touchdown himself as well. And defensively, the Eagles did a great job at shutting down New York's offense. The Giants didn't have a good game offensive-wise and defensive-wise. Jones, he didn't throw any touchdowns this game. He threw 1 pick, and he threw 135 yards, threw 15 passes out of 27 throws. And the Giants' only touchdown came from Breida, their running back, who had 4 carries, ran 23 yards. And other than that, the Giants didn't score any other points. And the Eagles blew them out, and they will advance onto the NFC Championship games. Now, the next game I'm going to be reviewing is a game with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. Now, this game was a surprise to me, and I say that because of how one-sided this game was, with both teams being one of the best teams in the whole NFL. Both the Bills and the Bengals had the same record at the end of the regular season, and for this game to be as one-sided as it was a surprise to me. And the Bengals played great football overall. However, though, I think the key to their win in this game was their defense. They did a great job at shutting down the Bills' offense. Their defensive backs did a great job at shutting down all the passes coming from the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen didn't throw any touchdown passes in this game. He threw a pick as well. He threw 25 passes out of 42 throws. The only touchdown that the Bills scored in this game was when Josh Allen ran the ball for a touchdown himself. And the Bengals' frontline defense did a great job at shutting down the Bills' running game, as both Singletary and Cook ran for a combined yardage of 37 yards. Josh Allen had more running yards than both Singletary and Cook. That goes to show ya how good the Bengals' defense was in this game versus the Buffalo Bills. And the Bengals' offense, they did a good job as well. Joe Burrows threw 23 passes out of 36 throws, threw 242 yards, and threw 2 touchdown passes. And Mixon had a very successful game. He scored a touchdown himself as well, ran 105 yards. For the second year in a row, the Bengals advanced to the AFC Championship games to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and statistically speaking, the Bengals got the advantage with them being undefeated 3-0 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And hopefully, speaking for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes' ankle won't be a down factor, and he's fully ready and at 100%, because they cannot afford any weak links with the stats not being on their side, and the Bengals being a better football team than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Anyways, next game I'm going to be reviewing is a game with the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. The final score of this game was 19-12, with the 49ers coming out on top. Dak Prescott didn't have a MVP-like performance this game as he did versus the Buccaneers. He threw 2 picks in this game, threw a touchdown pass as well, and that was the only touchdown that the Cowboys scored in this game. And he threw over 200 yards and threw 23 passes out of 37 throws. Much credit has to go to the 49ers defense, as he did a good job at shutting down the Cowboys offense. And on the positive side, though, the Cowboys had a better kicking game this game when compared to the game versus the Buccaneers, as their kicker made 2 field goals out of 2 field goal attempts. And statistically speaking, for the 49ers offense, Brock Purdy didn't throw any touchdown passes, neither did he throw any interceptions. He threw over 200 yards and threw 19 passes out of 29 throws. They had a successful running game, as Mitchell ran over 50 yards. McCaffrey, he ran a touchdown and ran 35 yards, and they gained a lot of yards through their passing game, as Kittle had 5 receptions and 95 yards. Deebo Samuels had 4 receptions and had 45 yards. Both Jennings and Ayuk, out of 2 receptions, had 26 yards, and McCaffrey had 6 receptions and out of that had 22 yards. And now the 49ers are on a 12-game win streak and will advance to the NFC Championship games to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. And that does it for the 2023 NFL Playoffs Divisional Rounds games review. Y'all let me know what y'all opinions are from all the games that y'all saw this past weekend. Comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And that does it for this video. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.